A York County woman was very surprised to find out why she wasn't feeling well. Here's JAIME Robertson's journey.
All right, so we've got a minus 175.
JAIME Robertson and her father Frank are board-certified opticians.
Actually, it's a minus 175 OU.
Okay. They designed their own brand of eyewear for clay target shooters.
We travel a lot to different events, and we make prescription eyewear on site at different shooting events, different competitions, things like that.
Last summer, JAIME had to put the glasses down and take a break. She was sick, very sick.
It was weeks and weeks of just not feeling like myself, not feeling like I could do anything at all.
She progressively seemed to get weaker, more tired. She had no energy, just wasn't feeling well at all. Naturally, as parents, you get concerned.
So JAIME made an appointment with her family doctor.
And then I told her that for about a week I'd had just a little bit of rectal bleeding, enough that I was like, this is strange. But I wasn't even at that point very concerned because it didn't seem like a lot to me and just thought it was unusual, but at that point I was really sick, so I just thought maybe it was a symptom of what was going on. They found out I was severely anemic, so they sent me to a local hospital.
JAIME called me from the doctor's office and she said, Dad, you have to come get me. They won't let me drive. My hemoglobin level was at 6.9 and they want to put me in the hospital.
I was hospitalized to try to find out why I was so anemic and try to get that under control. I saw a lot of doctors. They thought maybe I was bleeding internally because I haven't had any injuries or anything like that would have had a lot of blood loss. So they did, again, a variety of blood tests just to see if I had any illnesses or anything like that. Everything came back negative.
During part of that workup, they performed a colonoscopy and found a mass lesion in the very beginning of her colon called the cecum, right next to where the small bowel comes in, called the terminal ileum, and the appendix. And once they identified that, they realized that this was something that could represent colon cancer.
When they said that it was precancerous, I just wanted it out. I didn't want it to get any farther than that. Just get rid of it.
Anytime you hear cancer, your anxiety, especially I think as a parent, is elevated a little bit. So,
because I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses and we can't take blood transfusions, they said that Hershey was better equipped to deal with that if there would be any complications. So that's when they referred me to Hershey Medical Center to have the procedure done.
And the Bible Book of Acts, it just says abstain from blood. And so, we take that very literally, very seriously. It doesn't mean that we don't want proper health care. We want the best health care possible, but within the confines of what we feel God allows us to do.
The referring physician felt that she may be a good candidate for an innovative endoscopic surgical approach to this called EMR, or endoscopic mucosal resection, which is a minimally invasive way of taking these tumors out entirely endoscopically. So no surgery as we traditionally think about opening the abdomen with the suturing and removing an organs, all done through the colonoscope.
Dr. Moyer told JAIME this procedure wasn't as risky as major surgery, but bleeding was still a complication.
We did have to fully disclose the risks to her, and that if she did have bleeding, we might be in a tight spot. But she was quite solid about her faith, and that seemed fine to her, and she was able to get to a position where she could accept those risks.
We were nervous. This is the first time JAIME's had anything like this done, any medical procedure, any surgical procedure and things like that. So we had apprehension, prayed about it, just to maintain our emotional control and just to hope for the best outcome possible.
This is the colonoscopy that we performed here at Penn State. Here is the normal colon as it disappears into the distance, but it's obviously mostly replaced, almost 50% of it, by this large mass lesion. This lesion was so large that we couldn't get our equipment around it, so we ended up having to use a technique where I injected the lesion in several places with a very concentrated epinephrine to actually vasoconstrict and hopefully shrink the lesion somewhat. And that's what's happening here. It's actually shrinking. It took approximately 25 to 30 minutes to fully resect her tumor and to treat it, close it, to make sure she wouldn't have bleeding postoperatively and remove the tumor completely.
The pathology report indicated the doctors found the tumor just in time.
Even though this was a large lesion, it had the very beginnings of colon cancer, which is called carcinoma in situ, or more recently determined to be high-grade dysplasia. So that's the very beginnings of cancer, but no signs of invasive disease.
You know, I think it really helps us to really understand that, you know, it's not just an old age difficulty. It can happen in young people too.
So I'm just glad that the timing worked out and it's out. Just knowing that it's gone is a big relief, you know, knowing that there's nothing else in there right now that's gonna cause any problems.
After this procedure, Dr. Moyer diagnosed Jamie with inflammatory bowel disease. She is now taking medication to treat it, and she is feeling much better. Jamie had a follow-up colonoscopy last week, and there were no signs of cancer.